Hey everybody, welcome back to Still Can't Cook Season 2. How exciting is this? I'm super psyched. Hope you guys had a great summer. I did, sort of. I don't know, we'll talk about that. But yeah, we took some time off and I did a bunch of weird social media clips, TikTok stuff. I hope you guys got to see it. If not, go back and watch. It was fun. One of the things that you realize when you're my age is that you can't do these things so quick. These kids that work for me and they're here and they're really young, they were making me do these crazy TikToks and they come in like, we just got to do some social media clips. And then I was like jumping around. First of all, jumping. Let me talk about jumping. I'm getting right into this. So there's one clip I had to do the other day and it was this kid jumping up and down. I'm like, that's awesome. I can do that one clip. And so my social media producer was like, are you sure you can do that? And I kind of was like, whoa, yeah, I can do that. I can jump. Guess what? Try it. So basically jumping straight up in the air is one thing, but this thing that we watched, this kid was like jumping and he had his legs up and his legs out and his legs sideways. And I was like, but I got up. And let me tell you, your legs don't come up anymore after a certain age. Although I don't know if she could still do it because we talked about her trying it. And on the ground, you can kind of hop, but jumping off of things, I think you need to have a trampoline. I did try it, jumped off a bunch of stuff, and I did not once get my knees up. I just jumped out and over and onto the ground. So we learned that, like, TikTok o'clock, that I cannot jump over the age of 50. I probably couldn't jump when I was in my 30s, and I'm just making that up now. I felt like I was actually an athlete, but I feel like now I'm never going to be an athlete, which is something I have to put to bed. That dream of winning the gold medal for jumping has been, I watched it die the other day on TikTok slowly. So that was an interesting thing to learn. But aside from that small disadvantage of not being able to jump, I'm pretty good at everything else now because I've decided that I fix myself. I know we've gone through this last season. I'm fixed. I'm doing all the therapies, all of the overnight stuff. Still, I'm doing the listening to my podcast overnight and having the subliminal messages sent to my brain. So I wake up and think I'm a rock star every day now, which is great. So completely fixed. I don't need therapy anymore. I only talk to her about social issues, like what I'm wearing to work today and like how to do my hair and stuff. Short of that, I have no emotional problems, completely fixed. That's a surprise for you guys. I kind of spent the summer in New York, which was bizarre. If you don't take advantage of the things that New York has to offer in the summertime, I feel like you could get seriously depressed. It gets hot, right? So what I did this summer was tons of theater. I saw all the Broadway shows I wanted to see. Then I did some like underground stuff. There were some magicians that I saw, which is kind of creepy and insane. And if you haven't been to a magician in the city, there's some all over in different places, but there's one at the Nomad and what's at the Palace Hotel uptown. He is an illusionist. And man alive, this guy read the room. I saw one thing that he did with the card that I could see the actual string, and in my entire life, I never saw that before. So they should probably change the seating angles in the place, Palace, if you're listening. But aside from that, he like guessed people's dogs' names. This woman behind me, he was like, you have a dog, and you have a dog, when you like mixed the breed, you like found the breed that it was like a Cavapoo or something. They were all Cavapoos or something poo. And then he said, is your dog named after pasta? And she said, no. He said, your dog's name is Pasta. And she was like, nope. And he was like, well, are you sure? He's like, I'm vibing. And she was like, no, his name is Linguini. We were all like, she lost the room at that point. And you knew who you are, lady. But yeah, we went to an illusionist. I did the illusionist. I did theater. I did dinners. So I have this girl who I used to work with, and she is now a private restaurant concierge in the city. If you live in New York or come into New York, there's certain places you literally cannot get into. You have to fill it out 3 months before. You have to get on Resi, do all this stupid stuff, and I don't feel like doing that. So Jeannie Volson, she has The Vault is the name of her company. You're welcome, Jeannie. I want a discount next month. She charges a flat rate for the month, but she literally gets you into restaurants that you cannot get into in the city. So the backstory, on again, off again. It's taken about 6 minutes before he came up, and I don't know if that's the count, but that was my head count. He ends up calling me at one point, late June. Late June, and says he's coming home for July, and would we spend his birthday together? Which, when I always show up. So yes, no problem. I got excited about that. What is this going to look like for a month of July in New York? And so I decided to start setting things up, doing all the theaters, doing all the dinners in advance so that we weren't, that he was never bored. So Jeannie was incredible. got her for the month, and she ended us getting, these restaurants like the Corner Store and Teresi and these places that you can't get into if you don't have the contact. And she got us these incredible restaurant reservations, and we got to go uptown, like having great meals in the 90s, which when you live downtown Manhattan, which I do, you don't really go that far up for food. Unless it's incredible. So Chez Fifi is the name of the restaurant. I'm dropping all the names here for you guys. I want a free meal. So a lot of my summer was spent eating, theater, and running around with the dog and trying to keep from melting because it was pretty freaking hot. It was an exciting summer, but it was a different summer because most of the time I leave New York in the summertime. And I have the luxury of having friends who live other places, so it doesn't always have to be some exotic place, but I'll visit friends in Ohio, I'll visit friends in North Carolina. I have friends even in Jersey. Just getting out of the city and getting your feet into grass or sand is typically what I do. And I didn't really do that this summer because the situationship I was in, he's actually moved around the block from me. What's funny about the way this transition is when we first met, I lived around the block from where he lived. And then for the rest of our break-uppership, he was in another place and further, whatever, however you say it. That was Brooklyn, Kelley, further away from me than he was in the beginning. I lived here, I lived in Soho, he lived in Brooklyn. I lived in Soho, he lived in Gramercy Park. So just recently, he moved in literally 200 feet from my house. So we did end up seeing each other a lot, but at the same time, we're broke up. Like it's been a very strange kind of mashup of a breakup and a not a breakup, but also a breakup and like not having sex and not really a couple, but then fighting like we're a couple and expectations coupley. It's been a lot, but I'm fixed, so it's good. It's good. All is fine. I'm great. I have a whole season to talk about that how great that I'm not really great, but today I'm going to be great. Yeah, so he moved around the block. So we had a lot of time together and a lot of time downtown Manhattan, and that was interesting. There is water on both sides, so I got to go on the east side of the city and the west side of the city and got to see Brooklyn, got to see Jersey, got to enjoy Manhattan. But now I'm over it. Now I need to like go on like a sabbatical somewhere, but that's not going to happen. But anyway, so how long is too long to stay in a situationship? That's a very good question. And I have a bunch of different answers because I have absolutely been in one too long. Facts. So realistically, you feel it. You know when you are doing something past its point. And if you have something as undefined as I have, where you don't even know which way is up most of the time, I've gotten so comfortable in the dysfunction that I seek it out. I recently found out, because I'm doing a deep dive into narcissism, deep dive. And I'm telling you, we use it a lot. People use this term so much. I listen to Mel Robbins and I listen to Rebecca Zung, and they talk about it all the time. People really do say narcissist when someone has some narcissistic tendencies, which most successful people have. There's a very big difference when someone is a full-blown narcissist who doesn't have the ability to have compassion or empathy for somebody else. That is really where you see the break in the personality. I happen to be in a situationship with a full-blown narcissist. The issue now is I put all this time and energy into like learning about it and self-help and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, and maybe this will resonate true for somebody. Every time you want to learn something about yourself, especially in a relationship or situationship or whatever you're in, they teach you the tools to get out of it, to leave it. Well, I'm not in a situation where leaving this situation is actually possible. And it's not because he's got a gun to my head or anything strange like that. It's just the way in which the world has worked out for us. That's not a possibility. It's not actually a desire for me right now. I just want to know how to be in it without it being so draining all the time, and when I just never feel like I know which way is up. It's a constant walk on thin ice, and that has become exhausting. So how long is too long when you start getting twitchy when the person walks in the room, when you never feel comfortable, when you're always at odds with how you feel and what you have to pretend to feel? And that has been really hard for me for the last 2 months. One of the things about all that you learn about a narcissist is that you're supposed to leave. Well, what if you can't? What if it's your sister, your brother, your mother? What if you don't want to end the relationship? So then someone like me, I get all this information. I start putting all these tools to work. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why are we fighting again? Wait a minute, why are you not talking to me? Wait a minute, why are you freaking out? Oh, you're freaking out because I'm treating it like I'm leaving. I'm not going anywhere. So, okay, I'm fixed. I'm going to bring myself back down. So when you should leave and when it's too long is when you feel at odds internally, I think. But if you're in a position where you can't actually walk away, if it is your mother, your father, I don't know, a boss sometimes, or you're on again, off again, it's imperative that you find a way to stay in it peacefully, at least for yourself. You know when you know someone's lying, let's say when you know someone's lying, telling a liar they're lying is pointless. Telling someone they're not funny, that they're not funny, they don't know. So telling a narcissist that you know they're a narcissist and you've spotted them, all you're doing is creating a worse situation for yourself, because the last thing a narcissist wants to be, they don't ever want to be shown. They never want to be discovered because they wear this mask for everybody. So if you start to do all this self-help that teaches you you're supposed to like call it as you see it and, you know, gray rock. You can't do that if you want to maintain the relationship, because what I've found is that's just created so many explosions around me because they feel like they're losing control because you're trying to get in control and be your true self. But you can't be your authentic self if you're in a relationship with a narcissist. You can't. I said once about going into work, you clock in, you're somebody when you clock in. That's kind of what I've discovered you have to do to be inside the situationship with a narcissist. So if your situationship is not as explosive as mine is, because Jesus, I need like a Dramamine just to get through a day. If that's not the case, then you figure out your own timing. But I think that one of the things is your internal clock. Like we know. There's a study where they took monkeys and they gave monkeys a treat every time they did something good, not something good, but when they told them to do a task and they did the task. When they were done with the task, they got a treat. Their brain gave no serotonin. There was no change. Then they took these monkeys and they would randomly give them treats. The serotonin in the brain went sky high like that of a cocaine addict. So they realized that when you get these spurts of good, spurts of happy, spurts of positivity your way, which is what happens when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you actually become addicted to the serotonin in your brain and wait for the hit, like slot machines. You know how we get so excited about the one time. How many times you lose in a slot machine compared to how many times you win? That's the same thing as it is to date a narcissist or someone who gives you crumbs. I guess it probably doesn't have to be a narcissist. I don't know what your situation is, but if you're dating someone who gives you these emotional crumbs, we get so, thank God, a crumb, he said hi. I read a book and he says hi, and I see this, I'm like, look, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. He said hi. And then I go on with a soliloquy about my entire life, and he writes, K. So, when is it the right time to leave? When is it too long? I think you know, because I know. It's when you're like this every time the phone rings. Or you look at it and you're like, I don't want to answer. No, but I have to answer because it's going to explode if I don't answer. When you're walking on eggshells constantly and you get cold sores or a pimple or psoriasis, or whatever, the eczema, all the stuff, you got all the things. When you start falling apart, when you're losing your hair, you're starting to twitch, when you're like this, that's what happens. That's when you know. Leave when your body starts breaking down, because mine did. I had styes. I swear to God. He was here for a week. I looked like the lady from Something About Mary. Remember the guy in Something About Mary with all the spots on his faces? I was 3 weeks in like, hey, no, we're great. Pussy eye. I got everything. The shingles on its way back. And he said, what's going on? Why are you so stressed? Geez, let me think. You are the reason I'm so stressed. I'd like to make a song up if I could about that, but we probably would have to pay somebody rights because everything's already been written. Anyway, if you feel like you're pushing past the reality of who you are to make someone else happy, unless you can't leave, run. Go. There's someone else out there. And I'll tell you something, being alone is better than being stressed all the time. Which leads me to my next thing. He's leaving. See you later. He's punishing me by leaving, so. What used to be punishment is now pleasure. So thank you for leaving, and I'll be texting and telling you how much I'm missing you and dying as my eyes clear up and I get healthier and I look better. But then I think, because I always have my inner, here's me, I have Kelley and then I have Kellyanne, and they're always like in some kind of weird, and if you don't know that those are two different parts of my personality, it's Kelley, you guys know who Kelley is, Kellyanne, people know who she is too. So these two are kind of always arguing. Do I have it bad? I do not. I don't. I really don't. What I have is a beautiful life and a lot of freedom and a lot of incredible, look at what I just said. I went to all the theaters, went to the dinners. That would not have happened on my dime. It would not have happened. He inspires me to want to go to the theater and want to see the arts and be a better person and be more artsy and refined and learn about the, finer things in life. And he showed me the world, and I don't have it bad. But what is lacking, the problem is the other little voice that is like, but what about the how are yous? What about the wanting to really hear about how you feel about your mom dying? Like, it's important that I recognize how good it is when it's good. But man, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's the platypus of relationships. It is some weird thing with a duck bill and some flappy things, and in the back it's gonna probably be sharp and spiky. It's all the things. But a platypus is cute too. So my situation is kind of, it's a thing. It's a whole thing. It's not always that, but wow, when it's bad, because I'm the monkey waiting for the freaking treat. I want the treat. I'm telling you, when he says hi, I grab the plants, I see the light. I'm like, look, there's sunshine. We got to go over here. Everything's going to grow. And I put this, everything. Let's get, he's like, oh, he said hi to us. And that's only when he's angry. When he's angry, I get the one words, but obviously he's not always bad, because I wouldn't still be here, because I fixed myself. Because I'm fixed. Last season I would have stayed. This season is because I'm healthy. So that brings me to the fact that I am far too young for retirement, but still too old for all the BS. It's really difficult to figure out how you can just go, okay, really emotionally, just give up, right? I went and saw a friend the other day, and her mom is 89 years old, and she was like, I just watched, she's totally with it. I mean, completely, like, my mom wasn't. So to see someone who's completely present at that age for me it's beautiful, and she's an incredible woman, but it was also like surprising, because you feel like at some point, if everything's going, shouldn't die, but your brain doesn't have to go. Update, your brain doesn't have to go. But she was there, and she was present, and she was amazing, and she just said, like, yeah, I just watch TV. And I'm like, well, she's like, sometimes I go to the store. That's the days I watch TV. And I was like, man, leaning into that is pretty freaking epic. I'm almost there. But I'm not. So it's like I'm too young for that, but I'm also too old to like pretend that people don't annoy me and deal with the drama in the situationship. In my 40s, I was like, 35 text messages to one? No problem, because I love you and that's what I do. In my 50s, I'm like, this could be my last text. I'm 54. What are you doing? How are we fighting right now? I could realistically die of natural causes. I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it again. It's not a tragic death at this point. How are you taking a minute of my time? I don't have the time to give. I don't wait on lines. I don't wait on hold. I do everything with instant gratification, because I am just too old for the bullshit. But not old enough to just give it all up and give in, put on a pair of sweatpants and stay home all day. I mean, I'm a second away from that. That's pretty much Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday afternoons. But yeah, it's a weird space. It's incredibly freeing to be able to speak my mind. My girlfriend said, it's funny, my mom doesn't talk to me. Right in front of her, she goes, yeah, Mom, she doesn't really talk as much anymore. And she's like, what do I got to say? I'm gonna listen. Like, she's like, I said it all. And it was like, she's listening now. She's paying more attention now. And I'm like, I get that. I was recently out with my family, and without any alcohol and without any Xanax, I sat down to dinner with my family. And those of you who know. And I literally found myself listening. And I thought, oh my God, I'm old. I'm just paying attention. I'm just listening to them talk. I'm not even going away. I'm listening. I wasn't even going somewhere else. Like sometimes, I black out. I wasn't even blacking out. I was listening to their conversations, hearing some crazy stories about my childhood that I don't remember. Apparently my mother stuck a dog's head in water. I do not approve of. I could have never spoken to her again had I known about this, but they told me this traumatic story. The dog is fine. But even the moment of it, I would have lost my mind. But yeah, so I sat and I listened to the stories, and I thought, I've matured. I'm at the age of Almost. I'm in the in between. I'm at the almost stage. I'm not old enough and too old. So it's a weird, comfortable space to be in. I'm in a matching pajama set. Look at this. I can do this. And I'm a moment away from wearing like what are those things? A schmata. What are those things, the house dresses? In Brooklyn growing up, the old ladies used to wear house dresses. It was like a one-piece thing. It had pockets in it. But that's how I picture myself in my the next 10 years. I'm going to be walking around with a schmata. But wait. Holy cow. I'm getting a facelift. No, I'm not going to put in a schmata in the next 10 years. So I literally manifested this facelift. I've talked about it before, but I'm gonna bring everybody up to speed. I want a facelift. I manifest. I do my manifestations. I kept visualizing it. It's so expensive, a facelift, right? So I had a couple people I went and seen saw a couple doctors, and got the consultation and got the prices. Had a heart attack and said, okay, not yet. I happened to meet a doctor, Dr. Anthony Burlett, randomly at City Grill or whatever, Capitol Grill it's called. And we start talking, and our friendship builds, and the man offered me an incredible facelift at an incredible price. I'm doing the whole facelift, so I can't wear a schmata. I'm going to be in a bikini for the next season. I'm just going to be sitting here because I work out, but the rest of this is, I look like a Sharpay. You know you're getting a facelift, right? You're getting a facelift because you look old. Then to get to the facelift, you get all excited about getting the facelift, you have to stop doing the fillers to get the facelift. So leading up to the facelift, you look even older. And then you can't drink. So you're looking at yourself looking like a Sharpay in the mirror. You can't have a wine to feel better about yourself. And all the while now, they just get you at the point where you know you're going to get there and not chicken out. I think that's the whole game. They're getting me there. I'm going to look all wrinkly and gross, be sober and not be able to run away from my feelings. So I'm going to give in to the needle and to the slice, to the, what is it called? The blade. So I'm getting a facelift next month. I'm super excited about it. And I've been trying to prep for it, and I can't drink alcohol, and I can't do any fillers. I can do Botox, which apparently is good because it kills the muscle and gives you more skin. And he said he thinks he can get 2 inches on both sides of my face. Dead. I'm doing the face, full plane facelift, deep plane facelift, upper and lower eyes. And I'm going to document it. I'm going to look crazy, but I'm very excited about it. It's going to be amazing. So I'm doing that next month, and I can't wait, and I'm scared. But the lead up is really smart because, again, like I said, you can't do the fillers, and so you look a little bit more like a Sharpay than I did last season. Although, you know what's crazy is that I'm getting compliments on my skin at the moment, but I think that's probably from the not drinking. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, facelift next month, gonna document it. Really nervous, but I'm definitely not gonna put a schmata on when I have a new face. I'm gonna look like a new person with my new face. I'm not gonna wear schmata, but because I'm a new person, I'm gonna have a new face. Well, I'm gonna be the same person with a new face. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to go online dating again. I've decided to do that. So I'm back on Hinge, and here's what I'm doing. So here's the thing. I have been exclusively dating men for 54 years. I was talking to friends, and here's the situation. At the age I am at, it's not about sex anymore. It's not. It's about companionship and camaraderie and conversation. That's a lot of C's. And the 3 C's. I'm going to write a whole new book about the 3 C's. It's about that. It's about like having a conversation with someone who gets you, funny, interesting, someone you want to go to the theater with, you want to share your afternoons with, just having a companion. Sex is no longer the top 5 even. And we all get on this hormones and we do all this stuff to get normal sexually again. And I'm proud to say my body is back to normal. It is not about that, but your mind changes as you get older. It's just not that important. It's great and wonderful, but it isn't the top 5 reasons to spend time with somebody. So that being said, I decided to open up my dating app to women as well. Now hear me out here, everyone who's grasping their pearls. I opened it up to everyone. And I was with some friends, and we had a conversation. I was like, what if you just want to make friends and you just want to meet people and you want to sit down to dinner? Of course, I know you're not on a dating app to go, you're looking for someone. You know, when you're interested to have dinner and like meet new people and just hang out as friends, why not? I haven't sat down to dinner with a woman and been stumped in conversation or felt uncomfortable or not found something that we at least agreed on or found exciting about each other. I have, in fact, sat down to dinner with men where I wanted to put a knife in my eye or his before the dinner was over. So I decided that I was going to open it up and open my dating app up to everybody. And let me just tell you something. I'm not the only woman that's thinking that, because there are not this many lesbians. There's no way. When I get on my app, there is like 95 girls, one guy, 95 girls, one. So many women are open to dating other women. I am blown away. I think we've all kind of had a kumbaya, come to Jesus moment in our heads without even talking to each other. It's been happening. We are having meetings about how much we can't do this dating men thing anymore because, first of all, it's draining. Some of them are gross. And what are you going to talk about? I don't care about your job. I don't care about the market. I don't care about what you talk about. I don't care. I want to talk about fashion and menopause and good hair products and face products and what you do to your teeth. That's what I want to talk about. I don't care. I spent my life pretending to care what men were talking about. And sometimes you're interesting. I don't know where you are, but I'm sure there's somebody interesting out there. I haven't met him yet. On again, off again was interesting. They're just dynamically interesting. But like on a date, I think a woman would be far more interesting. But then you got to pull the trigger. Then you're looking at the dating apps and it's like, hey, Hillary, what do I say to a Hillary? What shade of lipstick is that? Like, how do I even do that? I don't even know what to do. So that's what's happening now. I go on my dating app and I have all these really beautiful women. Then I'm like, oh, she's pretty. I'm like, she's pretty to do what with? Am I want to go shopping with her? Like, am I going to have sex with the woman? I won't have sex with a man and I'm straight. So I'm going to have sex with a woman. I mean, it's a whole thing. I'm not saying I'm opposed to this. I'm just saying I don't even know the way. I don't have the key. I don't know how to get in. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I have a lot of unanswered text messages from really beautiful women who have great taste, clearly. And there's so many more of them than there are men interested in meeting women of my age. Something happened in the universe where women were just like, let's try to figure this out. When I was younger, it was across the board. You know, you were straight or gay. Bi was not. I mean, I'm sure of course there were bi people. We just didn't talk about it. If you were bisexual, it was like, oh, you kissed a girl on the weekend. How cute. Kissed a girl in a bar. Now it's like, you know, it's a lifestyle. With women, you don't have to make a choice anymore. It's crazy. It's beautiful and crazy. It's scary because I don't know what to do. So I did it, and now I have all these DMs. I have DMs from women, and then I'm feeling rude because I'm like, I put myself out there, and I liked you, and you liked me back. Now I have to talk to you, and I have to talk to you about dating stuff. So that's where I'm at. My therapist thinks that I am probably never going to go out with a woman, and that this is just an experimental moment. I don't know. It was not about an ego thing at all, because again, as a straight woman, you want to have a lot of men inbox you. The girls inbox me. I'm like, she probably likes my outfit. It's not me she wants to have sex with. But if you do, thanks. It's kind of flattering. So I don't know. I got to figure out how to maneuver through this new. I would like to try it. I have a girlfriend who is bi, and she was like, the thing you're worried about is not that hard. And the thing you're talking about, I don't want to get into right now. That's like literally putting the horse before the cart, before the street, before they left my house. All of a sudden, I'm in the business. I'm not in the business. And she did make a comparison between if you're going to be with a woman compared to being with a man and how less aggressive women are, which sat with me. And I was like, nice? A nice person? Sexually nice? That's interesting. That's a new way of being. Sorry. See, I said I healed myself. I shouldn't say stuff like that. I didn't mean it. I have no harboring resentment towards any man. That's a joke. Clearly, it's a joke. So am I actually into women, or am I just done with men's nonsense? I think we have to stay tuned and see. I'm on the fence. I'm a little leaning towards done with men's nonsense, and also interested in women in a way that I'm interested in women because I find this really interesting. But then the whole, leaning into the sex part of it, I'm kind of a chicken. So one of the other rules I've had is that I only date older men. It's been across the board for years and years and years. The closest to younger has been the same age. I do not date younger men. I forgot one guy I went out with years ago, met him on Match, working at the hotel, met him, brought him back to my apartment, started to fool around, and I took my shirt off, or he took my shirt off, and he said, wow, you have a great body for a woman your age. And so he left the house soon after that. So that happened. So that's why, that kind of turned me off. Like I have a great body in general, not for a woman my age. And he had a King Charles, Prince Charles, something Charles with a pin in it. And I didn't see it. He told me about it. I was not interested in figuring out which Charles it was or which prince it was. So he left right after he made the comment about my body. for my age. Anyway, so for me, across the board, I date men older than myself. I think my age range is like 55 to 65 or 66. Now I'm starting to think about, if I'm going to open up to women, why not open up to younger guys? But the thing about younger guys is it would only be about sex for me. But again, I have all these absolutes. I don't know. Would it only be about sex? Maybe I'll go out with a younger guy and meet the man of my dreams, and he'll open the door and do all the things and be funny and want to go to the theater and know about fashion, and I'll ask him what color lipstick he's wearing. That was a pullback. See that? Maybe I'm minimizing. Minimizing? I think I'm minimizing my dating opportunities by picking the ages, because it really is a very small chunk. 56, I think I have 56 to 65. And maybe I'll bring it down a little bit. I know that the guys who do hit on me now, I'm getting some DMs from fans, I guess, which is crazy, but are all younger than me. They are all younger than me. And I just don't want to be like the hot old chick. The thing about the Facelift, I'm not being crazy. I know I'm going to walk in the room. No one's going to be like, who's that kid? It's going to still be like, she's a well-kept 54. That's all I want. I'm not aiming for like, oh, look at that kid, that young girl. Just well-kept 54 is all I want. So to date a younger guy means that I have to be comfortable being an older woman. And I like feeling younger. I think that's the reason why my situationship, he is 67. And even though he may have way younger lovers, facts, gross, but he does. Even though he does, I still feel young around him. Because he's so old. Speaking of fans, and I do have a few fans, I don't have a bunch of fans, and I don't think I'm iconic, Matthew Baton. You said that I said that about myself, and I did not. And I went back, and it was my team put that up for my birthday. Never mind, you said it. And I did not call myself iconic, though I might be. Stay tuned. Anyway, speaking of fans, I was at a show with friends, and I had Oliver, because I always have Oliver, and a woman literally came directly over to me, and she was like, I'm the woman who sent you the dick pic. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she was like, it was me. I got turned on to your podcast by people in Yellow Springs, my friend Elaine specifically, and watching Elaine's story saw me. She's been a fan of the show. She's the one who sent the letter, and I swear to God, she went, oh my God, is that Oliver? I get to meet Oliver. And she literally had a fan out. She was amazing and super sweet, and we ended up hanging out, but she was like hanging out, like hanging out, because I was Kelley I had a real fan moment. I text the girls that I work with, and I was like, oh my God, the lady who sent us the story is here. And she went on to tell me more stories, and she's super funny and super sweet. A real fan, and she hung out, and she watched Oliver while we danced, and it was crazy to have someone, she was talking about the shows and things that she liked and things that I wore. So having this woman be a fan in front of my friends and really hang out and care about what I was doing, what I was saying, and very, you know who you are, very endearing and very sweet, and I was flattered, and I'm still talking about it, so clearly I was, and to fan out on Oliver, who deserves way more fans than I do. He's the coolest. But it was pretty incredible to have that happen and be like, wow, you guys care. This next season, I really want to get more, talk to me. Tell me what you want me to talk about. Tell me what you guys are thinking, and how maybe with the dick pic thing, she related to a conversation I was having about online dating. And so she sent me a funny picture. If you have stories that you relate to what I'm talking about, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to do more fan interaction. Tell me what you want to hear. Let's talk about some of the stuff you are interested in, or stuff I said last season that you want me to tap back into, or if you haven't watched, go back. And if you're new, please go watch my last season. It's really fun. And subscribe. Press the subscribe button, please. And take the ride with me, because it's going to be really fun this season. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. We're going to go into really delve into menopause and all the stuff we don't talk about, and all the things that you should know about if no one's telling you. Because I'll tell you, when you get here and you don't have someone to refer to, it sucks. So it's great to have girlfriends you can talk to, and me, because I'm there, sitting in the middle of it. Someone said the other day, I'm already past it. And I was like, did you die? You can't be past menopause. And you knew who you are. It was my sister. Didn't make any sense. You passed it. Anyway, so sorry, Roseanne, I called you out on that one, but you did say it, and I let it go because you're with your boyfriend. I didn't want to make you feel old, because he's younger than her. She tried it. I should try this younger guy thing. Anyway, I'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, I think that this next season is going to be super exciting. We're going to talk about dating and menopause and money and family and fashion and bad fashion, getting older, being younger, the things that you learn, the things you forget. I want to hear from Gen Z and the difference between you guys and me. Let's see. That rhymes. And I also would like to have someone come talk about chivalry in Gen Z because I don't really understand what goes on. I need to understand. All right, everybody. So I think we're done with episode 1 of Still Can't Cook season 2. This is crazy. My knees are numb because that's what's happening at this age. But thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to have you back. I am thrilled for this next season. It's going to be a bunch of really fun stuff. I'd love you guys to participate. Please ask more questions. Subscribe and follow wherever you watch me. Tell your friends. Even if you don't, spread the word. Hate me publicly. I don't care. Just watch the show. Tune in, and I'm so excited to be here, and I cannot thank you enough for coming back and paying attention and taking this ride with me. I am so thrilled, so blessed, and so grateful for you, and I am very excited about season 2. So thank you, and still can't cook, but I'll see you next week. Hey guys, thank you so much for showing up for another episode of Still Can't Cook. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, on YouTube or any other podcast provider. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, please follow us at Still Can't Cook. Love to have you guys back every week. So happy that you joined us and look forward to seeing you next week.